today I want to take you to Zain Resort. So we did the design and construction of this place, and I want to show you how it looks like. So I'm going to show you inside the building so that you see them, how they look like, and how everything at this place looks like, the kitchen, the bedrooms, and also the living room. But first of all, I want to show you the drawings of this place so that you see them, and also how we did the master plan for the same. So this project, first of all, we began this project a long time ago, and the first thing first was I got a call from the client and they wanted a design. So we had to travel to the site so that we can be able to get the dimensions. And when we got to this place, actually the land had just been, they had just harvested flowers. It used to be a flower farm. So if you know Naivasha, you know there's a lot of flower farms and a lot of farming is happening. So this land was an agricultural land, and we had to now do change of use for the land so that it becomes commercial. But in order to do that, we had to have the drawing first. So we did the measurements, and after taking the measurements, I went and designed the entire thing, and also had places where I want to place trees, because in my mind I wanted something which is more greener. I love nature, that is. So I love nature and I want something which is more greener, and we had to place a lot of trees. And you can even see here on my master plan, there's a lot of trees that had indicated where I want them to be. But initially it was just some land, like a long field of land. Then once we did the design for every unit that they needed, and we were having discussions with the clients, that is, meetings to agree on different types of projects, different types of rooms that they want and all that. Then once we had them in place, now we had to take the drawing for approval processes. It was costly and it took a lot of time, but after it was done, even the change of use was done. Now it was time to begin the construction phase. So the construction phase, we began with the bigger houses, and the bigger houses we were targeting, the client, what the client told me is the client was targeting to have guests who can come with families and they can be able to stay there, especially for holidays. And also smaller ones are for most people who just want a place to sleep, single rooms, that is. Those ones are the most common ones. And in case you're doing something right now in terms of a resort, I'll advise that you do single rooms. They sell more. So we began with the bigger ones, and this image that you see on the screen, this was day one of construction phase, and this was way back before Safari Rally. The second Safari Rally happened in Kenya, and the construction process was amazing. I had to work with a lot of carpenters and stuff, and these were people who had never built timber structures before. So it was more of like letting them know what I want and how we were planning to do it. Then once we're done, so we finished the first phase, and so far this is how they look like. And the entire structure, the entire building is timber. Starting from the ground, we used timber poles, treated electric poles in the ground. Then we do decking. We're using timber again. Everything was timber on the entire structure, even the wall studs, everything is timber. So let me show you one of the units. So this is one of the units. This is how they look like on the side, and this is every unit has to have a fire extinguisher because of the nature of the house, so it has to have one, but this is one of them. So it looks pretty cool. African art here on the wall to invite you in, and the house looks pretty cool. You can see the arrangement of seats again, looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice, yeah. So let me show you this side on the kitchen. Everything works, yeah. There's water, flushable toilets, there's water, but now the water on this side is very salty, so you don't drink that one. You have to drink this one. That's fresh water. This other one is very salty because of this side. This side water is very salty. And you see the decoration that we did, again, pretty nice and pretty dope. It looks pretty cool. See, it looks pretty nice. So I think I'm running out of memory. So for the bedrooms, it was looking as if the lights were flickering. I don't know why, but that's how it was showing on the camera. But they don't flicker. And it doesn't, I mean, there's little light, or there's no more enough light. So I just went back this to record, and this was a few days ago, and I went at evening on a weekday when it's not busy. And every room is en suite. Every room is en suite, meaning that every room has its own bathroom. And let me show you other bedrooms. So for this one, the headboard we did different because this bedroom is a little bit smaller than the other one. But like I said, every room is en suite. Every room has a bathroom. Pretty nice. There's water. So this here is one of the completed unit, and this is inside. And I know for most people they think that once you enter such a building you find a lot of cold inside, but this building is very calm, and whenever it's hot outside, inside is warm. And this is because inside the walls we did place some material that can be able to regulate heat, thermal regulation, and also works to help with reduction of noise. So you don't hear a lot of noise from outside, but again it feels warm and cozy and nice. And another thing which adds to its warmness is the type of roofing that we used. So the design concept was more of like we wanted a building which is more of natural, and that's why we went with the grass. But you can go with a different material. You can place like normal iron sheets on it, and again it will look pretty nice and cool. So this concept inside the house, so as for now I'll say that the house is not complete, even if this house we did it by about 2 or 3 years ago, but the house is not complete. There are some things that were supposed to complete inside, and also are supposed to do sanding of these offcuts, and then we varnished them to make them look pretty cool and nice and shiny, like rustic kind of feeling. But now the place was opened during Safari Rally the second Safari Rally that happened in Kenya. And once it was opened, the client was like, I want to use it for just a short while, make money for now, and maybe later on is when we can be able to finish some of these things. But now that stage has never arrived, and this is because for now the place is running, and in Naivasha it looks like the demand for such houses is very high. The demand for places where people can be able to sleep, like for rooms, is very high. Even this entire side that we are in near the lakeside, like there's dozens and dozens of resorts, and most of the times they are full to full capacity. So once they began operational, they've never stopped to do more. Trying to complete them. There were some decorations we were supposed to put somewhere at the top, but we never got a chance to do them because they said later. And for now, when it comes to like varnishing, once you varnish, there's usually that smell of the varnish, and it might take about a week or 2 for it to completely for the house to completely begin smelling normal. Before that, you will be hearing a lot of smell from the varnish. But also it depends on the type of varnish that you use, but in most cases the strongest one you will hear from about a week or 2. You have to leave the windows open all the time so that the smell inside the house can reduce. But now because of that, I think the downtime, you have to close the house and do all that. I think for them it might be wasting money for them, so for now they've chosen to keep it as it is. But I guess in future they might do it, and these offcuts will look pretty nice. But now the money that they get from the project is what has been used to construct these other smaller units. And these one are 1-bedroom units, or just a single unit where it's just a room, you have a bed. From what you see, it's just a room, you have a bed and a bathroom. And this one is pretty easy. So along the construction of this other one, we came to realize that the most expensive thing in a timber building will be the floor. If you do the floor and decking and everything, it becomes very expensive, especially if you're constructing somewhere where there's no timber, like where in this case we're getting timber from Western, and it was very expensive to get it to this point. So if you're doing such a project where there's no a lot of timber, then it becomes very expensive, and the most expensive thing is the floor. So in order to save on cost, the best way is to do just a normal floor, like how you do for the normal buildings. So you do a normal floor. Once you do the normal floor, concrete floor that is, then now you can begin constructing with timber on the walls. That way it's very cheap, and yeah, very cheap, especially if you use offcuts now on the outside and also inside. And again, if you're someone who's just doing for like your normal house, you can do gypsum inside and it will look like a normal building inside. Very nice. So some of these buildings now we had to consider also, because of the cost factor. Now there are some where we introduced more of the normal blocks or the normal masonry blocks to a certain height before we continue with the offcuts. And like I said, it's because of the cost factor. In Naivasha you get timber from very far away, but if you have your own timber, if it's cheap and you can get it readily available, then that's the best option. But for those who are asking about the kitchen, now when it comes to the kitchen, you just do it this way. It's pretty easy, it's not difficult at all. Just do a kitchen with boards like this one. It is made of boards, and this is the kitchen in one of the units, and here you can see marble on top of it, and the kitchen is inbuilt. There's nothing like using concrete or anything, just an inbuilt kitchen, and it looks pretty cool. So this one we did in 2023. Was it 2023 or 2022? But today I got a camera and I said, man, I have to go and film it, and it looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. You see there's running water, everything that you want, you get it. This place is in Naivasha. It is a wooden building. We did a wooden building, wooden design. Everything is wood from the ground. For this structure, everything is wood, starting from the foundation going all the way to the roof. There's no concrete, wood, entire wood. And the structure looks pretty cool. Because most of the times that I have people reach out about timber structures, the thing that they do ask me most is, how will my kitchen look like? What kitchen? So the kitchen is very easy, and this one, we could have as well done it too. It was supposed to come to this end, but because of the usage of the house, they say that this kitchen won't be used by people a lot, because this is a resort. So someone will only use the kitchen maybe once or maybe never, maybe just washing their hands. But the design was supposed to have it coming all the way to here, and because they have a kitchen and also a restaurant here, most people just order food that side. But the design concept of it was, you can come with your food and you can be able to cook within the house. That's why we put a kitchen, but we said let it be small. But if you want it for your own home, it can go all the way to like letter L, and it's pretty nice. Everything is well done. Board, this is marble, then this is just use the boards and you're done. And the good thing with the boards nowadays, you can come and wrap it any other color that you want. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, but this is what we do, and this is what we've been doing. So far it looks cool. Like, you just need small storage and also a place where you can be able to cook and maybe do one or two things, but you don't need a bigger kitchen. But this place has a kitchen. I mean, they have a kitchen and everything that you can be able to get food, ready-made food. But now this is just an addition in case you are on your own and you want maybe to prepare your own meal or anything close to that. Usually there are those people who prepare their own meal, but this is how you do the kitchen, and all the pipes are running within the wall and others are underneath or under the floor, especially for electricity and all that. So yeah, this place is well done, but yeah, it's pretty nice because of the light. You can do the entire interior to look like this. So you have the office going upwards. Again, that one looks pretty. So it all depends actually with the money. Just that one is a little bit more expensive compared to if you use normal offcuts. Offcuts, they are way cheaper, and within it there is a different material again that helps to reduce noise from one room to another for noise regulation and also thermal regulation, so that the house doesn't get cold. There's something between the walls. So you have on one side you have offcuts, then you have plywood, then you have the material that we use for helping with the reduction of noise. Then on the other side now you have again offcuts. But now for a normal house, if you want a house that you want to live in and you are not building it like a resort, then the best way is to use gypsum boards on the inside. It will look pretty cool. And this one, for the floor, you varnish it and you do sanding and varnishing. It looks this pretty nice. And like I said, for this building is entire timber from the ground, entire timber all the way up to the roof. There's no concrete, hakuna chuma, everything is timber, and it looks pretty nice. So like I said, most of these plants that you see here, how it looks green like this place was not looking like this at all, and all these plants were planted according to the drawing that we did, or we provided, what we call the master plan. But of course along the way some have been changed, and that is because the land was supposed to go all the way to the road, but now they got a different client. So this land is on lease. I mean, they got it on lease. They pay money every time for it because it is on lease. And there was a different client who came and wanted the region or the side closer to the road, and they were paying more for it. So they were given that section. And now design had to change a little bit. But most of these trees were planted here according to the design that we provided to the client. And it's just amazing when you look at it right now, all this grown. I'll show you, or while editing I'll attach a picture here before it was grown, or before when the land was just bare, or when the trees had just been planted, so that you see the difference. You might think as of now like everything was here, but like I said, nothing was here. And so far this place looks stunning, and for me personally, I'm happy that I was involved in the construction of it, and I took part also in design and construction of it. And I'm happy that as of now it has gotten to this point and people go there to spend nights and they enjoy. So let me know how you think about this, and in case you have a project that you want to be done, it could be structural, architectural, let me know. I'll always leave my contact in the description or somewhere in the chat, somewhere in the comment section, but also I'll try to attach it on the video. Feel free to reach out. So ladies and gentlemen, today we are at Zain Resort, and I want to show you around. So basically my design for this place, I'm the one who did the design for this place, yeah. And the design was to make it to be more like an Instagrammable place with a lot of nice concepts, yeah. A lot of green. It was supposed to be very green, so when we were doing the design there were no trees here, but we came and planted the trees. Again, on this other side it was supposed to go the way to the fence, but now they got a better deal with a different client and who took the other side. But yeah, we also placed some greenery, like a green field where you can be able to come and relax and do more stuff, and in future it could be expansion for more rooms or more houses in case the business does well. And also a conference center, but simple. It was more of the design or the concept of just simple grass, and the purpose of using grass, because grass is very good when it comes to temperature and stuff, thermal regulation. It's very cool. So when you go to any of these rooms, it feels nice and calm, like it's very calm. You can hear that my sound sounds better when I'm in here, but again, this place is very calm. So we did the design for all these stuff, and I'll show you guys the design of the same and also the master plan of the place, for how big the place was supposed to be. So far everything is done according to how we are designed, so when it comes to the grass and everything, and the place looks pretty cool. So this is the conference room. It's just small for people who are having a meeting and they want to discuss something. Then there's some greenery that you can go and have fun, and in here it's very calm. It's not cold, it's not hot, just calm. So yeah, like I said, the design concept, yeah, was supposed to have something which is nice and calm. So then we went with these ones that are called off cuts. What you see on top, those ones are called off cuts. So we went with off cuts because of how most of them, the off cuts, they're just material which is thrown away. Sometimes it can be used as firewood, and so it was a nice concept to use that one, and people use it as well for rustic buildings. And for the roofing, it is simple grass and it looks pretty cool. So I want to show you more houses in this same place, and I'm going to show you more houses and more rooms so that you see them how they look like. When it comes to the conference centers, let me switch off the light. They all look the same, so there's no point of showing you another one. But yeah, I want to show you also one of the rooms so that you see it, and you can always find a place if you want to sleep. You can always find a place here that you can come and rest. It's a pretty nice school, and most of these, even these ones, are rooms for the same. They are resorts. This other end, this is a bar, a club, but on the other side again there's more resort. There's like 10 or 11 resorts on this side because that business is doing pretty good.